This is the 2024 Honda Prologue Touring, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you the ultimate tour. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Now pay attention to what I'm about to say, because if you want to come and buy this Prologue at Holmes Honda, I'm at Holmes Honda in Bossier City instead of Shreveport today. Yes, there are two stores. This is my first trip into the Bossier City store. So make sure to check out that link down in the description of the video if you're interested in this Prologue, and then you can get the address if you don't already know where this location is and do what you need to do to get here. The exterior color on this model is Pacific Blue Metallic, and it has a black interior. Let's take a look here at what you're going to find on the front end. With the Pacific Blue exterior color, I have to say that the gloss black that is here, and there is quite a bit, but it really matches what we have. The front end, as you would expect with any EV or what is called a BEV, a BEV, a battery electric vehicle, which is what this is, well, cheating the wind is really important. So you're going to have a lot of good aerodynamic qualities here, including our active air curtains right here just above our fog lights. So maybe you're looking for a two-row SUV from Honda, but you're saying, yeah, I'm not really sure that I want a Passport, really not interested in the CR-V. I want something that's electric. Here's a great choice for you, and something you won't find on the CR-V, no matter the trim level, are those fog lights down there. Everything is full LED here. We have LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and those LED fog lights, LED tail lights finish things off. This is a two-wheel drive model, but obviously all-wheel drive is available. Let's take a look at our tires. We'll talk about the tire and wheel size. You're 255 on the width, and you have a 60 series sidewall, and in this case wrapped around the 19-inch wheels. Here is your charge port, so nice to know that that's located on the driver's side, a very convenient location. And this model can handle DC fast charging. Gloss black works its way up onto the side view mirrors. Now they are manually folding here in this particular case, but you do have your turn signal indicators built in. You will also find your blind spot monitoring. They're power adjustable, so quite a bit going on where that is concerned. Now, you may not be aware of the fact that Honda did partner with General Motors, and that's why you're going to see a similar looking remote to what General Motors has. But good technology that's already proven and is going to work. You do have remote start, lock, unlock. You can open and close your power tailgate, and when you say to yourself, somebody's getting too close, there's your panic button. And on the front and rear doors, you're going to find something that's not unusual to Honda or new to Honda, but you have your passive entry right here. Those buttons, especially for you parents, nice to have it on the rear door. So when you have the remote in your possession, you can come and unlock or lock all four doors from either the front or the rear doors. Nice to have that. We'll also have the roof rails up top, and yes, a panoramic sunroof. So that's always nice to have. I know a lot of you are always seeking those panoramic sunroofs. There you go. Body colored shark fin antenna and the rear roof spoiler. That's actually not just there to make things look nice here, but it helps to channel air over this rear window. It helps keep the rear window clean when you're cruising down the road. But when the window is dirty or when it's raining, you do have your rear window wiper right here. A lot of the time, I really say I'd rather see that tucked away inside of the rear roof spoiler, but that pretty much isn't any space available for that. Not necessarily a big deal. And LED tail lights to finish things off here. There's our Prologue Touring logo and the E right there. Do I really need to tell you what that is? Probably not. But with our gloss black trim right here, we have the Honda name spelled out, something that's a little bit different, but a nice clean look. Now there are a couple of things to talk about here as far as all of your numbers go. Let's take a look at what's under the hood, because it's not actually a frunk. And one thing I really like, you'll notice that on the hood release right here, it says ×2. So we're going to pull on that 2 times, and here is the advantage to that. That means that when you come and open the hood, you only have to pull up to open it. You don't have to go looking for a release that would normally be located in this area or up on the hood somewhere. This is the front motor that we're looking at. And depending on whether you go all-wheel drive or two-wheel drive will determine whether you have one or more motors. Obviously, you don't have a spare tire here. You do have a tire repair kit. If you go with the single motor setup, such as what we have right here, you're looking at 212 horsepower and 236 pounds-feet of torque. Or you can go all-wheel drive, dual motors, and that brings you up to 288 horsepower and 333 pounds-feet of torque. And if you go with the single motor setup, such as what we're looking at today, we're looking at our MPGEs of 107 city, 91 highway, 99 combined, and 34 kilowatt hours per every 100 miles driven. Your driving range on a single charge is 296 miles. And if you use a DC fast charger, you're looking at a roughly 65 miles of range in about 10 minutes. And as we open the power tailgate, there are a couple of different ways you can do that, including the button I just used right there. The remote will also allow you to do that. There's also a button on the interior. And we're looking at 23.7 up to 57.7 cubic feet of cargo capacity. You can see how everything looks with the seats folded flat, cargo capacity maximized. There's a little bit of space behind the fender wells if you want to take advantage of that. Cargo lighting, and I like the fact that there's cargo lighting on both sides, not just one side. You also have the ease and convenience, the use of a 12-volt power outlet. And from this angle, you can take a look at the panoramic sunroof. There is a power shade that you can bring in place if you need to get rid of all that sun coming into the interior. Maybe it's getting too warm. That front portion will tilt and slide open. And there is additional space underneath the floor right here. You can keep your charging cable here and whatever else you can get to fit in there, even a little bit of space back here in this area in the rear. And while the window sticker says this is a black interior, you will find some gray accents. So that's nice to see right here as far as that kind of breaks things up a little bit. And the armrest seems to be pretty comfortable. Also have the bottle holder right here on the door. And take a quick look here into the interior. For you parents out there that have little ones in your child safety seats, the nice thing is that all you have to do is flip that cover up and you have access to the latch system. That's one less thing to keep up with because they don't actually come off. We'll also have the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in. And real quick, while I'm at this angle, there is another look at the panoramic sunroof. Based on what a lot of you tell me in the comment section, you like a panoramic sunroof over a conventional size. And we'll have rear seat pockets on the driver and passenger sides. The rear seats do have a little bit of incline built into them, but that's as much as you're going to have. You can't actually adjust that, but they do have some recline, so that's a good thing. And rear air conditioning vents, a lot of you will be happy about that. Another common request. And you have your USB ports down there. Right down here, there are two and a little bit of space right here. And how about the answer to that question that so many people ask in the comments section because they don't watch the entire video? What is the sticker price? $53,550 here at Holmes Honda, Bossier City. And by the way, for those of you who just heard the price and said, Tom, that's pretty high. Well, here is something that's very interesting. It's better to lease one of these models because you can get a payment for under $400 a month. So depending on what you're stepping out of or what you're expecting to pay in a situation such as buying this Prologue at the mid-range trim level, that's not too bad. So just a little something to think about. For some people, leasing is better than buying. So if that's an option for you, there's something to consider. Let's see what else you get for that price. Over here on the driver's side door, we're going to have seat memory. So you'll have a couple of different settings there for seat memory. Personally, I think if you have seat memory on the driver's side, you should also have it on the passenger side. Just my thought on the matter. But you do have a 6-way adjustable passenger seat that is heated. The driver's seat is 10-way adjustable, also heated, not ventilated in this case. Here is our glove box, plenty of space within that area, and you'll find a little bit of gloss black here in the interior. but I don't think it's in a bad area necessarily on the dash right there because it won't fingerprint up so badly. You do have a little bit here on the door armrest on the door panel as well. So yeah, just be careful what you touch. And we'll see some of our features right here. Lane keeping assist. You have your power parking brake right here. If you want to use auto hold or brake hold, as we often call it, there is where you turn that on and off. By the way, you do have fully automatic headlights. And when it comes to the instrument cluster, that is 11 inches. Quite a bit of real estate there. And you can see that you can bring up the navigation if you so desire to do so. Here are our steering wheel mounted controls on a rather thick steering wheel. I like the way that feels in my hands. It is tilt and telescopically adjustable, and you have all of your typical features and functionality here. Obviously adaptive cruise control. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll control your front and rear window wipers. And then this lever right here might confuse a lot of people. You might wonder if something's broken because you accidentally hit that when you didn't mean to, and wondered, why are those arrows blinking on the instrument cluster? Some of you know what I'm talking about, and some of you don't. And you might say, how do you know that, Tom? Because I've driven around you. You don't use your blinkers. Okay. I can't say anything sarcastic or funny about the shifter, but I will show you how this works. So when you pull it back, you'll go into neutral, and then you got to keep it pulled back. You go into reverse and obviously go into drive, and then you have the button to go into park right there. And the infotainment screen is 11.3 inches. Again, quite a bit of real estate. We do have something here that is nice. I know a lot of you like to have it. That's going to be the knob right there for turning the radio on and off and adjusting the volume. But there is so much going on here within this infotainment screen. You have Google Assistant where you can say, hey, yeah, I fooled some of you. I thought I was about to set off devices in your house, didn't you? I'm not going to do that, at least not today. Next time I might. But you have Google Assistant, you have wireless capabilities for pairing your smartphone, and you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. There's a lot going on here, even ambient lighting. I'm going to show you what's here. Quite a few colors as far as that goes. You can adjust the brightness if you want to make that as bright as possible. Then you can do that. The hunt and peck method will do you quite well here. You don't necessarily need me to show you every single thing that's going on, but I'm going to give you a decent tour here. And here's something that's interesting that I think looks really nice as far as this model goes. The likeness of your Prologue right there on the screen. If you need to know what your tire pressure is, well, it's going to show you right there. And we can see that the left rear needs a pound of air pressure. Not necessarily a big deal, but you have that. How about energy info? That's something that's very useful to know as far as what's going on with your BEV. And there you go. You see all the different information that we have right there. Again, it's super simple to deal with and figure out. How about your trip mode? Well, that's not really much that we need to talk about there. Simple, but there's where that is in case you were curious. And we will go back home here and take a look at vehicle settings, because there is a lot going on here that you probably want to know about. Here are some of the features and functionality and different things you can go through if you need to update. There's where you do it right down there. But I wanted to show you a few things under vehicle right here. You have audio settings, obviously, valet settings, teen driver, in case you want to let your teen drive, or maybe you have somebody who drives like a teen, even though they're not a teen, and you want to turn that on anyway, and they're an adult. But another question that I know a lot of people have is, how about the driving aids, safety features? Well, you have automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, adaptive cruise go notifier. You can turn that on and off, as well as lane change alert, park assist with braking, rear cross traffic braking, and rear pedestrian alert. So there you go. Quite a bit going on there where that goes. There's so much going on here that I'm not going to cover every little part of it. Even though this is the ultimate tour, we don't want to make it the ultimately long video, because a lot of you probably wouldn't watch if I did that. And charging right there, you can see where we are. As far as our next charge, you can schedule that if you want to. There is that, and we'll go over to our next screen. You do have Google Maps built in here, so you can do that. You can go in and manage everything with your phone. you can see what all is there. And dual zone climate control. We only have heated seats in this particular case. I dare not turn that on today because we're going to be up around 100 degrees, maybe a little bit more. But the thing I do like here, unlike with a lot of vehicles these days, whether they're EVs, BEVs, BEVs, whatever they are, is that you're starting to see these controls disappear in some vehicles. Well, not in this case. That's a good thing. Physical buttons and knobs for your dual zone climate control. And you also have your USB options right there, a couple more, and a 12-volt power outlet. Now, you have a lot of space right here, and you might say, wait a minute, Tom, for over $50,000, I don't get a wireless charging pad? You do. It's just not right there. It's right here. You deposit your phone right down in here, and I like that because your phone will stay in place much easier that way, as opposed to having it on a flat surface where it can move around sometimes. So there's a plus. Cup holders and your center console. That works pretty well because it is a multitasker. The lid is also an armrest. And how about your space within? Quite a bit of space there, and nothing unusual for Honda. We see this in quite a few Hondas, but you have your tray right here that can be moved into a couple of different places, or you can leave that out altogether if you want to. And how about our upper console? Let's see if we can get you a good enough light on that. Here is where you control that shade right there that I showed or told you about earlier. I'm going to open that to try and give us a little bit better lighting. There we go. So you can see what is on the upper console. You can obviously control the positioning of your sunroof if you want to open and close that. A very nice interior, very comfortable. Also have the oh crap handles up there at each door except for the driver's side door, because the driver can grab the steering wheel and they know when they're dropping the power pedal on all that horsepower. It may not be as much as some EVs out there have, but still fun to drive. Speaking of that, let's get out on the road and see what it is like to drive this Prologue. One more thing before we do our test drive I did want to show you is that you do have a rear view camera or backup camera. Now, if you go Elite, you will find that you have more than one camera. You'll have a front view camera. It just depends on what your needs and desires are. And if you want to spend a little bit more money, there are some options to go beyond just having that backup camera, but that seems to work for a lot of people. All right, here we go on our test drive. My very first experience in the Prologue, and with the single motor front wheel drive, it gets up to speed decently well. It's not going to have the neck snapping punch in the gut performance that you might have from some EVs out there, but there's an advantage to that in that you will not use up as much charge capacity as quickly as you would otherwise. But from what I understand from friends I know who own EVs, once you do that a few times, you just kind of get it out of your system. And I think because of the fact that, yeah, it's going to deplete your capacity of your battery quicker, you learn that you just don't need to do it that often. But I'll tell you what, one thing I do notice here is that the handling is solid, even with front wheel drive. I like the steering response. I like the feel of the steering wheel. It might sound kind of funny, but I like a thicker steering wheel. That's nice to have here, even if you don't have really big hands, and I don't have really big hands. I have average size hands, I'd say. But I like the fact that it's not a thinner steering wheel. It just makes you feel more in control. The ride quality seems to be good, although I haven't really been on any roads that aren't very smooth. This road is pretty smooth, but I'm getting enough feedback to be able to tell you that, yeah, it's not too bad. Not bad at all. This road doesn't seem to be perfect, but it's smooth enough to where, yes, we could get out on another road somewhere, which wouldn't take much in Louisiana, and be able to give you an idea on true ride quality on rough roads. But either way, I really am enjoying driving this Prologue. And I like the fact that even though I'm 5'10", I feel that somebody who is well in excess of 6 feet tall could easily adjust the seat, the steering wheel, everything to their liking, and be very comfortable here within the interior. So you have a lot of advantages here, a lot of adjustability built in. That's always a big advantage, a big plus. And it doesn't seem to be difficult to see out of. You might wonder about that rear window. Well, for me personally, I don't really have any issues where that's concerned. It seems to be easy to see out of for me. based on where I've adjusted this rear view mirror, so that's a good thing. And something else that is a big advantage here is the fact that the technology, as is typical with Honda, is very easy to learn and very easy to use. Now, this is a little bit of a test drive shortcut. And so I'm just going to turn around here. Hey, this is Red River Bank. That's where I do my banking. So they shouldn't mind if I'm cutting through their parking lot, and nobody should complain down in the comments section, but you just never know. But it is interesting to drive something like this for the first time, which obviously I'm not doing, but it's so quiet. And so I'm gonna just let you listen, even though this road isn't gonna give a lot of noise back. We'll see what you think based on what we have to work with. Let's see what the road noise is like. Now you might say, that sounds really noisy, Tom. But keep in mind, you don't have the sound of an engine, you don't have someone to talk to, I don't have the fan speed turned up very high, and the radio's not playing. So, or should I say radio? Well, do we really have an official radio anymore in these vehicles? Well, you kind of do, but it's just not the way it used to be. You definitely don't have CD players or anything like that. I'm curious, if I had a poll, how many of you would still like to see even a brand new vehicle like this, a 2024 model or a 2025, still offer a CD player? I know a lot of us still have CDs. There's probably some people out there saying, what the heck is a CD? I thought that had to do with money. Well, nope. If you're old enough, you know what a CD is, you know what a record is. You know what? I barely got to see 8 tracks. You might have to Google that to wonder what that, if you're wondering what that is. But I think this is a very well-rounded vehicle for what it is. It's comfortable, it's spacious, I don't feel cramped. You have a reasonable amount of cargo capacity. And while I know a lot of people are going to say only 296 miles of range, well, that's really not much different than most vehicles that would have a combustion engine under the hood as far as the range you can go on a full tank of gas. And if you think about it, how far are you typically going to drive before you fill up anyway? If you're on a road trip, you're probably going to go about 200 to 250 miles. But that is where it becomes so important to be careful not to step on the power pedal too much, which, by the way, you do have regenerative braking. That's going to help out with keeping the charge up, the charge capacity up on your battery. So a few different things built in here. There's so much to talk about that I really can't talk about everything. And we might wind up with a 2 or 3 hour video, and I just don't know if anybody would watch that. And there we go, the ultimate tour of the 2024 Honda Prologue Touring. Tell me what you think. If you plan to buy a Prologue, what trim level are you planning to buy? Tell me how you'd like to have it spec'd out, or maybe you're just going to wait and see what shows up at the dealership. I'm curious to know. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Holmes Honda Bossier City for inviting me over to show you this Prologue today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. I always appreciate your time. Thanks for taking the time to watch. That means a lot to me for you to do that. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you might wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.